Hello everyone, this is going to be the recap of Playday 1 of the Intel Extreme Masters Season 1 group stage. I guess this video is going to be rather short because, it's only been one match played for each of the players and therefore there's not too much to speculate about in terms of what can happen towards the end of the group stage, in terms of what scenarios, can play out if certain results happen. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of an overview of the current standing of the tournament, and of course I'm going to talk about the big question mark that has risen on the first play day, which is the best of three between DD8 and Grubby. But we'll start with Group A, which contained basically the downfall of the Night Elves, with all three of them losing their first best of three. Especially surprising that Sase lost against Firestrike and that Deadman lost against Fire DE. And it's gonna be up to them to come back on Playday 2 and of course in the rest of the group stage. And on Playday 2, all of the Night Elves are gonna have the chance to play against another non-Night Elf. We'll kick off Playday 2 with Deadman against Firestrike, and we're gonna follow that up with Nightwolf against Fire DE and Sase against Giacomo. I guess Group B not as surprising. Only Ciara beating Hot was a pretty big upset actually. Hot losing there in a pretty disappointing best of three, at least from his point of view. Not really a great performance by him. Creo very convincingly taking down Humanic, living up to his role as the favorite in the best of three, and I guess together with Hot even in the entire Group B. And Spell against Sunshine, well, I guess on paper Spell might have been slightly favored, but given that, I think I've already mentioned it, given that this was already towards the end of his career and he wasn't too motivated anymore, maybe not a huge surprise that he lost to Sunshine in that best of three. And on Playday 2, it's going to be especially up to Hot to come back into this group stage. He's going to have to face Spell. We'll start with Ciara against Humanic though, and in that best of three, Ciara is going to be the favorite, which of course he wasn't against Hot, and he's going to have the chance to even climb up higher in the ranking of Group B, and we'll finish with a Night Elf mirror between Creo and Sunshine. Then Group C, I'm just going to start with talking about DD8 against Grubby. For those of you who haven't seen the best of three, of course it's on my channel, like all the other matches of Playday 1 that have already been played, except for the second map of Naps against Electak, which apparently is gone from the internet, and it doesn't seem to be in my collection, at least, not to be found, as far as I can tell. Anyways, Grubby against DD8. The first map was Echo Isles, and Grubby decided to go Undead, and even though the match took like 20 minutes or so, Grubby never really looked like he was in a position where he could take it. He played a fast expansion, he towered it up, so it took a while for DD8 to actually form a huge army and break it. And then on map 2, Grubby tried to play Human on Twisted Meadows and lost in like not even 5 minutes. And of course, people were questioning Grubby's decision to go for to play off race in that best of three, and I've looked into it because I didn't clearly remember the circumstances, but now I do. So this match was played on November 2nd of 2006, and on November 1st, Grubby played a show match against Lucifer in Seoul, I think as part of the Warcraft World War, and therefore he played this match against DD8 one day later, and I'm assuming his hotel room wasn't paid for another day, just to play this best of three. And what I do know is that he had to play from an inconvenient location, let's put it like that, because in his statement in his match against Naps, which he had to play on player 2, he wrote something along the lines of, in this one I can play more seriously than against DD8 because I'll be home again. So we do know that he was not able to get home in time to play this best of 3 against DD8. So maybe he had to play from like the airport, or best case scenario, some internet cafe, I'm not sure what it's called in English, in Seoul. And I'm not sure if that was the case though, because then the circumstances wouldn't have been that bad. I'm assuming the flight back was already booked way before this match. Anyway, that's one point. The second point is probably even more important. On November 10th, Grubby played the Super Fight number 2 against Moon, a best of 3 show match for $10,000 for a single best of 3. And I'm assuming, or the general assumption was, that Grubby did not want to reveal his play style to Moon in Orc against Night Elf just 1 week, or about 1 week before this great show match, which, as far as I know, is the largest amount of prize money for a single best of 3 in Warcraft history. Because if you compare it, like the entire Extreme Masters tournament here is 15,000 euros, and 10,000 euros potentially for 2 maps is huge, of course. And therefore Grubby decided to go off race in a match which he probably would have lost anyway, even if he played Orc, and not, reveal basically brand new replays to Moon just before this super important best of 3. Of course, in the end, it was all for nothing because Moon ended up winning 2-0 anyway. But I guess that's, that doesn't really affect this discussion because, there's no hindsight for Grubby, of course. Anyway, Grubby putting himself under pressure already after this first playday. He's going to have to definitely defeat Naps if he wants to stay in this tournament. Other than that, Naps losing to Electak and Proteus losing to Todd was pretty much expected. We're going to start Playday 2 with Electak against Todd, which is already going to be extremely important because it's going to put one of these players in a very, very good position for the rest of the tournament, starting with 2 victories. And other than that, Naps is going to face Grubby, and Proteus is going to face DD8. Proteus, of course, is going to have a very tough time in this group. I guess DD8 and Naps are going to be the matches he's going to have to win if he wants to really maybe have a chance to reach rank 3. And Group D, I guess in this one there's not too much to talk about. Mew definitely setting a sign at the end of Playday 1, dominating Insomnia, who probably was the favorite to end up on rank 1 in Group D. Lily C against Thomas G. I guess Lily C was the slight favorite at that time, even though he wasn't really a big name, but neither was Thomas G. And HG against Titan, the favorite, winning there, with Titan being one of the best Russian players at the time. And from now on we'll always see 2 human against Night Elf and 1 Night Elf mirror in Group D. In this case, on Playday 2, it's going to be HG against Mew, Thomas G against Insomnia, and Titan against Lily C. And that's pretty much all there is to say for this recap. As mentioned, not too much speculation to do so far. Before the tournament, I think 2 viewers had the courage to make a prediction. Maybe after getting the first impression here on Playday 1, a few more will, go ahead and participate in that conversation. I guess for those two who did make a prediction, especially Eskimo Joe, I think it went quite horrible so far, but maybe it'll get better in Playday 2, and I hope you look forward to that and give me some expectations and predictions for that, as well as for the rest of the tournament, as well as your thoughts about Playday 1, especially about the whole Grubby against DD8 situation. And I'll see you soon. Bye.